Transform, copy. Transform, paste. There we go. Right! I'm just waiting to find out what I'm doing. Because I don't know what I'm doing. I could be doing a timing belt on this. I have a diesel to look at for carboning up. Ugh. This is why we can't have nice things. Well, I hope you didn't want this thing to work again. Ancient history. Old master tech. Good morning, Barrick and Pac-Man. I forgot what I was going to say. There's something interesting this morning. I'm doing very well. It's really rainy. Well, not rainy yet, but as you can see, it's very dark. It's going to be rainy today. If that white Volvo moves. It's really muggy. We're gonna have to push out my Audi today. Yeah. What's up, Cytresius? We'll call you Cy. Unless you give me like a phonetic spelling, then I'll never be able to say it. And even then, I'm still going to have trouble because I will inevitably forget. See, it's Monday morning. Don't know what's going on yet. Everybody's up front, waiting to get marching orders, so to speak. You know, there was a... Good morning, Jeffrey. Yay, Toffee. Got your butt working again. There was a post on my YouTube about somebody saying dealership versus independent. And they're like, well, if you want to work like a dog out in the heat and sweat your ass off and stuff like that, yeah, go independent. And I was thinking, other than that being a possibility, I think the freedom is much nicer. There's a lack of politics here. I mean, there may be some, but not nearly as much as if you were at like a dealership. I always wondered if I'd, well, at least in my current state, I'm sure I would not do very good at a dealership. I feel like I'm underexperienced for being working on cars for like 8+ years. However, I can take something that's quite... I can very much take something apart and put it back together later. Like everything. Something? Oh, for Jason.
Right, your car was flat this morning. You here? Probably need a spare.
Damn it, I need that boy to come get his RX-8 so I can push my Audi there. Anyway, let me go up front and see what's going on. I I did what I typically don't like to do, which is I started before I had anything to do yet. So, but I didn't want to wait too long. So I got to run around and figure out what I'm doing. Hello, Bex. What's up? Jason took something. What did Jason took? Oh, he took a flashlight. Chat's ratting on you. Yeah, go ahead and ask. Let me get this. I gotta get this green beetle out because I need the bay. Because we're gonna look at a 2006 Volkswagen diesel Jetta TDI, and we're gonna find out why it has a noticeable loss of power. Plus, this thing's got to get out because it's crooked as it is anyway. I don't know what drift car to get. Whatever one you want to. So very quiet. Don't tell anybody. An S13 or Miata? I don't know. I've never even worked on an S13. I don't even know what that is off the top of my head. I'll probably know it if somebody's like, oh, this is an S13. Oh, right, that thing. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, Miatas are fine. But otherwise, I'm not a drifty type person. Beats the hell out of me. What is that? Oh, nice. They got a CB radio in there. I would ask, I'd probably ask Turbo Poly in Discord. He does a lot of performance stuff, or has experience with it. He might have some good ideas. I don't think Rodex would know much where it comes to drift cars. He might have an idea if it was a rally car, but drift car is not so sure. I swore I heard like a hell of a noise out the back of this thing. But yeah, definitely go hit up Discord. Wow. What the fuck happened here? This thing looks like it's been leaking exhaust or soot out this section for quite some time. Let me get the under tray off. So you too can see what is going on, y'all. How did they do to these bolts? So on a fun note, wife and kids had a great time at the camp out the other night. They had lots of fun. As Draven likes to say, best day ever. What, man? Let's do this shit. How this even freaking happened. That was going in the trash. I ain't messing with that again. Morning, Pills! How are you? Pills, Polly, or not Polly, one of the guys in chat has a question about drifting cars. Maybe you have an idea? City. pretty harsh. Seems like it's pretty. Grab a rag, which there apparently are none. Yeah, big old nail in his tire. S13 for sure. What is an S13? I don't know this model off the top of my head. Has Oak the ESP light? As in it's on? What? What's wrong with the light? Is it like clicking or something? Is that any better? Sorry. Yeah, I turned it off before I hit it with. I blew on it and I was like, damn it. And then I turned it off. A bit of water had fallen into it. Or had dropped into it. Here, let's have a quick look. So this is the underside of this diesel. It's like all sooty and black, which, from what I remember, involves the turbo cooler, because there's a liquid cooler back here, and this little piece right here breaks and starts venting out soot and exhaust fluids or exhaust stuff. And as you can see, the car's been kind of sooty. The underside of the car is all sooty. Damn, man, I'd have to get that scanned, dude. Like, the ESP light is something that ticks me off. Half the time it's a damn crank sensor. Sometimes it can be. Is your ABS light on too, or just the ESP? I mean, it could be a bad throttle. Because it's your electronic stability program, and if it's freaking out, it's very much. Good morning, Woodman. Very much at the mercy of the computers. And to which one is the most bad. Most good, Captain. get all wet with it, so it's just have to. Yeah, it's something that you need a scanner for, really. It's not just like, oh, ESP light means this. I don't even know how well their scan's going to turn out. Connect to engine. It's true. It is better than nothing. Mass airflow sensor, implausible signal. Boost pressure regulation, control limit not reached, intermittent. Good God. Why is it so like pulsy in this turbo? Feels like it's punching the turbo, not running it. One of these damn turbos gone bad. When you guys hear those pulses, yes, he's off today. Sounds very hollow too. So 10,000 parts to whoever can figure out what it is before I do. If you guess what it is, like turbo, stuff like that. Sounds like a misfire on a diesel. It doesn't have any misfire issues. Damn it. One of these drawers I put, there we go. I was going to say, one of these drawers I put the stethoscope in when I moved everything around. But it's like, move from over here. Why does it sound like it's coming from next to the damn transmission? Aerodex. It's a VW, that's what's wrong with it. But like, if you put your hand on the turbo hose, can you guys hear the that kind of noise? It's the turbo. Like guaranteed. Like if I do this, That's what the turbo sounds like. And it's very much putting out air in a very similar fashion. It shouldn't be that bad, the red. I mean, as long as he says he can do it. Hopefully he doesn't lie to you. And if he does, then you know not to keep him around as a friend. This frustrates me because I don't know diesels very well. But now's a good time to learn. Oh, that noise is coming from the airbox. The airbox going into the turbo is making a hellacious noise. I don't want to leave the engine on too long in case I got to repair it. Golly, this thing's making a ton of noise and sounds terrible. Horrible. It got so quiet. Shh. Don't tell anybody. Oh, the check engine light's definitely on. Damn it, I didn't print it. Oh, cool, I can. Yes. The black soot underneath, that is a part of the turbo wastegate or the control. There's some sort of piece under there that goes bad, and I fixed a lot of those. I don't remember. I just remember I fixed a lot. I fixed like 5 or 6 of them, but I don't remember exactly what the part is. Because as per normal, guess who's like walks up under there and is like, "Oh yeah, that needs the turbo water cooling pipe. Just go ahead and write that down and turn that in." Okay. Like, what is that the rod that I'm pretty sure controls the recirc or the wastegate part of the turbo? The boot around the rod goes bad, and then it starts leaking boost out there, as well as just generally messy. Let me go wash my hands real quick because they're all sooty before I go touch a bunch of stuff. Makes sense. Makes sense, Phil. Oop, put my test light and fire away. I went this weekend and checked the starter. Hey, thank you, sir. On a Mercedes. I kind of overanalyzed myself when I did it, but we did figure it out. Test light on the starch solenoid. Turn the key, comes on. EDM mechanic. Who is that, sir? Good. Is this somebody that streams? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna look at. Is I want to see what we're talking about with codes wise. So sick. Do we have a VIN? No, we don't. So I'm not even 100% sure this is an 06. Let me make sure it is. Yeah, it's an 06, so that's right. But let's go ahead and get the VIN in. Also, how many miles are on this thing? 149, 128. 149, 128. What if this thing's ever had a timing belt done to it? Who knows? How have you been, kind sir? Yay, an Aria! He's off sick today. See, I'm not very good. I'm not very good on diesels either. We get them in every once in a while, but usually they're I don't want to say usually anything. They're odd ducks some days. What do we got? P0101. EGR valve closed, fuel quality 0. Speed 5 seconds, continuous 2. Malfunction threshold values, deviation between actual airflow 18% and model air mass less than 18%. And model air mass? That doesn't make any sense. To find out some things that I can look for. Jetta TDI. I do want to try and break the habit of using Identifix, but not on this one. Oh look, the top one's no power. I wonder what that looks like. Lots of turbochargers. Leaking intake air duct, malfunctioning turbocharger. Turbocharger underboost. Check for any leaks in the turbocharger between the pressure side and the intake manifold. Code 299 shows low boost condition, which we have that. Check for movement in the turbo wastegate actuator rod by applying vacuum and verifying the rod does not bind. Test drive the vehicle with vacuum applied and not applied to the actual and see if there's a noticeable difference between boost pressures. Measure vacuum from the tandem pump at the rear of the cylinder head should be 28 inches at idle. Check for the wastegate bypass valve N75, either operating the solenoid using the VW compatible scan tool or using ground directly to the solenoid. Make sure the solenoid clicks and holds vacuum until cycled on. The vacuum cycle to the solenoid also ensures that there's sufficient 28 inches of vacuum on the solenoid. Tech tip. These engines can be very difficult to locate and air vacuum leaks on. The preferred method is to use a smoke machine and fill the intake system past the filter. Once the system is full of smoke, it may further help locate by using shop air regulated down to 5 psi to pressurize the intake system. The engine is a variable vane turbo which consistently adapts the boost pressure to the actual driving conditions. To regulate boost, the ECM continuously adds a duty cycle to the N75 wastegate solenoid to adjust vacuum applied to the wastegate vacuum unit on the turbo, which controls the angle of the vanes on the turbo. With no vacuum applied to the wastegate vacuum unit, there is minimal boost. With full vacuum applied, maximum boost. If no change is detected, most likely the turbo vanes are carboned up, which necessitates turbo replacement. Interesting. Very interesting. Good luck, Dan. Are you moving now? Is today the move day, man? You know what? I'm also curious. What? Hey. 101. That gets much. Lots of mass airflow sensors. Dirty intake manifold. Interesting. Oh yeah, Dan. That's cool. 30x gamer. And what does the 30x mean? I guess first let's start off with picking up the car. Let's check the rod, like the one that goes into that wastegate. Make sure it actually does anything. It's not like stuck or seized. I would like to learn small engines a little bit better. I probably just need to take apart a few. Where is my cart with my gloves on them? Because I don't want to get all this sooty carbon stuff on my hands. If I can avoid it. And I can avoid it by using gloves. Is that what you say that puffing is? So what do you think the puffing part of it is, though? Like why, when I pulled off that turbo line, it's puffing so hard. The problem is trying to get down there to see the actual turbo vanes is really hard. Because it's like engine, back of engine, under. Under back of engine or above. Yeah, I'm sure it's like It's one of those, yeah, it's stupid simple. Popping sounds like a misfire or bad valve. But why is it popping like in the pressure line of the turbo? It's not like it's popping in the exhaust. Like if I pull off the pressure line that goes into the intercooler, the only thing between it and the turbo, it's kind of taking the engine out of the loop, though, isn't it? Because it's like puffing out of the intercooler from the turbo side versus going to the engine and then just losing its pressure. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Flash it. Oh, good golly. Oh yeah, so it's definitely coming out of that. Whew. So here's that cover that went over the N75. I believe it's the N75. Ooh, city, city, city. Hold on. Ooh, excuse me. So, let's see. Here is that valve. This, damn it, stay up there. This tends to leak from here. This little gasket, this little rubber piece there. And so that's why it's all sooty around there. Damn it. Keep getting the carpet all messed up. And so that is the reason why that's all sooty right there. Is I bet you that diaphragm is bad. So if I were to take this vacuum line off, I can't get it. I gotta use two hands. Ugh, I feel like I'm working at a coal mine. This shouldn't be this sooty. Oh, I mean, thinking simple is always the best way to go. Start with the simple, easiest thing first. which is why I'm going down here to this wastegate control. No, that's not oil, it's exhaust. That's why it's like dusty versus oily. Well, there is an oil leak up there too, yes. Let me find our vacuum pump and some hose to test if I can pull a vacuum onto that solenoid. Here's this. I did. Yeah, it's can be just driven up front. The key, I think, is right there. Yeah, okay. Right here.
That needs to get out because just the reader is back, but the air not working. He doesn't know if we didn't hook it up or.
What was a reader?
Well, we put a can of crank in, out of convertible.
Okay.
So you don't believe it? And Jason needs to say 5 of that. So.
It moves. It's sticky though. Okay. Why would his AC not work? I know exactly why it doesn't work. Because I unplugged it to get the filter in and out, and I forgot to plug it back in. Son of a bitch. Alright, so the actuator. Here, you want to see the actuator in actuation? Stay. Stay. See, I have the vacuum line hooked up to it. Slowly, slowly, slowly. There it goes. It's functioning under vacuum. So that's good. However, it's still probably leaking past that port. It's a little bindy, as the saying would go. It's not really smooth. It kind of goes a little bit further. Dirty. So now I'm going to need to check for movement of the turbo wastegate actuator rod by applying vacuum and verifying the wastegate rod does not bind. It kind of does. Test drive vehicle with vacuum applied, not applied to the actuator, and see if there's a noticeable difference in boost pressure. Problem is, though, that's going to get it super hot. And then we need to make sure the tandem pump at the rear of the head, cylinder head, should be actually applying vacuum. Right? But apparently, at this moment, I need to work on something else for a minute. Well, that didn't do much. Because I guess the person up there is waiting on the car for me to go and fix that. So again, I must go wash my hands. I'll be right back. Alright, let me go get this other car in real quick. This is our one we did the cams on. Oh, nothing's wrong with the cams. No, nothing's wrong with the cams in this car anymore. It's the friggin' AC. I forgot to plug it back in after I pulled the filter out. Because in order to get the oil filter out, you gotta unplug the AC compressor. What? No, same one. I just forgot to plug the AC in after I got the oil filter out. Because you gotta unplug the AC to get the filter to actually fit. Which is kind of dumb, but that's how it works. Just can't quite reach it from the top. I can actually touch the plug and feel where it goes. I just can't put it in. Giggity. Damn disaster of a car. Come on, just get in there, you ass. There we go. Put back in. That was it. I put a new sticker in it after I changed the oil. I don't think so. $148, $53. That's good enough. Bong. Check his oil level. Perfect still. There we go. Ah, so nice and quiet. What a strange day. Good morning, Shepherd. I did have a good weekend. How was your guys' weekend? It's Monday, so it's going to be crazy. All right, let me go clean up again and get this car back out. All right, so now I guess here's going to be our biggest question on this diesel: is what's going to be the simplest test to perform to establish the main problem? Like, we can see that the N75, not N75, but the wastegate actuator rod, it applies, it does bind. If it's applied slowly by something like a vacuum, it might get stuck and not go. However, it does sound like the turbo is having some issues as well, and as Rodak said, could be misfiring, although it doesn't. Wouldn't a diesel throw misfire codes, like misfiring on different cylinders? Which it's not. It's just got two codes in it, which are mass airflow sensor and boost pressure regulation. Which, that's saying the numbers in the air aren't matching up to the numbers in the turbo. And the intake air is less or more than specified, and the boost pressure air is less or more than specified. So it sounds like they could both be correlating to the fact that the turbo's going bad. If you look up P0299 on any kind of application that looks up common failures, this one's like very highly turbos, like very highly the turbos have failed, and you must replace them. It's just the little variable vanes in there have broke. So they say look at the tandem pump, which is, oh, my light's still down there. Which I assume it's talking about this pump, which is a tandem vacuum pump slash high pressure injection pump for vacuum. However, they also said try and drive it with the wastegate removed, put full vacuum on it, put no vacuum on it, see if there's a difference in the boost. Which that might be the easiest thing to do, would be do that. Because if we shut the wastegate for sure, if we do either or, and we don't, so this is one of the kind of things I find a little annoying about this. Check for movement of the turbo wastegate actuator rod by applying vacuum and making sure it does not bind. Test drive the vehicle with the vacuum applied, not applied to the actuator to see if there's a noticeable difference in boost. Right, that's the problem though, is what Pill said. If I do that test, then the engine's going to be real hot. And so that's going to kind of nix any, either it's going to nix any repairs immediately afterwards, or B, it's going to cause me a ton of harassment and pain because I'm going to have to work on a hottest engine. So it also, I got to get my damn flashlight back before I forget about it. That would make me sad if I forgot my flashlight. It's all dusty. Cool. Because I think we might be fighting a couple problems at once here. One, I think the wastegate itself, actuator rod slash, because that hook, I know I've replaced the, I think it's called the, it's like, not EGR cooler, maybe it is the EGR cooler. I'm trying to pick a clean spot on me to wipe my itches with, you know. Yeah, I have an itch. Because damn it, I want a definitive test that I can do and remember. This is the vane pump, or the vane linkage that changes the vanes for the turbo. And this has vacuum going to it. This should be supplied. That could be something I could start up and try. That'd be a way to test, see if it's got vacuum. Oh, see, there it is. That does connect to the booster slash right over to there. So what we're looking at here is, I gotta figure out a better way of holding the light attached to this thing. Like that maybe? Nope. Come on, stick, you bastard. There. This is the tandem pump right there. This is fuel pressure, high pressure fuel, and also vacuum. I don't know if you can see that back there, but there's a little vacuum line, and it goes over here to this. This is what controls the vanes in your turbo, whether they're open or closed, and there's a little vacuum line going there coming right off this tandem pump. So if I pop this off, hook up the vacuum tester to it, I should be able to get a quick reading on if it's actually putting out 28 or more or less PSI of vacuum. If it's not getting appropriate vacuum there, then the turbo could not getting the vanes turned and thusly have no power. So let's just go ahead and connect up our vacuum pump. Our vacuum, yeah. I guess I need to get an actual vacuum gauge at some point in my existence, because this is very ghetto, but it'll work. Alright, let's start up the car, see if that gets sucked down the... It could be better. It's at about 21 PSI. It's not 30 or 28 as specified. Well, you can see that, but all the way around is 30, and then the first notch is 25. So it's at about 22. You might get more when you accelerate / let off of it. And it's also sharing it with the brake booster. Ooh, wait a minute. I wasn't hearing a hiss before I plugged that back into the vane pump. Now I'm hearing a hiss. The vane controller is leaking. Because You can. You absolutely can, Phil. So, the vane controller is shot, it seems. Damn, it seems like there's a lot of things going on wrong with this car. So, let's see. I can... There's not 20 inches of vacuum supply to the solenoid. Grub truckers! Well, thank you very much for the host, kind sir. Hmm. What's up, Squish My Head? How are you? I understand that. What's up?
Nope. Jumping in back checking out the scrap.
Ah. Damn it, damn it, damn it. So here's my problem right now, is I'm checking all these things and don't quite know what it all means together. What's up, man? Yep. Well, I used to do what he did for 12 years, and then I quit that and started doing that. Feel a lot better.
Feel a lot better.
It's a lot better than smoking. Not ideal, but you know, if you're gonna do something, might as well do the one thing that's not gonna kill you quite as fast.
Quite a bit. There you go. Anything this morning? Good to go?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. I'm good for the moment, but I will let you know.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. The reading on the vacuum was 20 psi, 20 to 23. So it's not getting full vacuum applied to it either. So let's see. Wastegate. ACG. No, the Cornwall man. Wastegate sticky. Yeah, it's a little low. So the vacuum pump on the end of the head isn't functioning as well as it should be. There's two reasons. One, it's not generating as much power as it should be in the engine. And so it's that, or there's a leak. Could be a leak in the system, or it could, let's see. I know that there's a vacuum leak, and there shouldn't be much of a vacuum leak. It goes to the booster and goes to that damn N75. So the N75, I hear a leak in the N75 itself, which is what controls the turbo vanes in the turbo. So I don't want to say PSI vacuum, but we'll just run with that as the current term. It should be HG, I think. Inches HG vacuum, yeah. What does HG stand for? So let's see. Wastegate actuator sticky. The N75 has an internal vacuum leak. The tandem pump's only putting out 23 psi, or inches of vacuum. Turbo sounds terrible. Puffing? Inches of mercury. There we go. Okay. Thank you, guys. We're going to call it measures of kappa. The measurements of kappa. So this has got 23 inches of kappa. Because it's a negative thing onto the world. How hard it would get down to that turbo inlet to see how the turbo looks. Because I would like to try to touch the vanes and see if I can't, move them. Maybe not terrible. Maybe not terrible. If we unplugged that and undid that, we should be able to get down to there. And actually feel the... Because if I can touch the turbo vanes and I touch them and they're like really hard, they're stuck, they're broke, then that's pretty definitive of a condemnation. Condemning the turbo, because I'm suspecting the turbo like Pills is. Rodex, do you have any other suggestions at this moment of what it is, or thoughts? Oh goodness, what the hell? whatever that sensor is, it's got oil in it. This is probably a barometric pressure sensor, I guess. Alright, now we gotta get something down to there to get this line off. There's a leak under the car in the wastegate area. I forgot. I used to know what it was. It's something specific, but I can't remember what it was exactly. There's like a whole unit is what it is. No, the noise is not an exhaust leak. Like, I looked for exhaust leaks, and I don't hear any. The noise, if you pull off the intercooler line, the charged air line, from the turbo to the intercooler, up through the intercooler into the engine, it's puffing there. Like, the puffing is coming from. It could be a fuel filter if the engine's not firing correctly, is what you're saying. So it's not getting proper exhaust, which is making the turbo puff oddly as well. But wouldn't something like that, especially in a Volkswagen setup, misfire code? Damn it. This is all very cramped under here. There we go. I do believe it has misfire monitors. I think. I swear in the past I've had misfires on diesels, and I was always like, what? What? It's not the coils. But I could be wrong. I might be thinking something else. I guess a quick Google search would answer that question. Yes, it had some check engine light codes, which were mass airflow sensor and pressure deviation in the turbo. So it's saying that it's not building enough pressure typically in the turbo, as well as it's getting an incorrect mass airflow sensor reading. Well, I can get to the intake side of the turbo. Seems to spin okay. I mean, I can move it. Let me go get my other flashlight. Son of a bitch! As I just yank out my damn flashlight. Like I said, they're in there. They turn pretty freely. So I think the turbo itself, unless there's some other nefarious point, is doing okay. see what you're saying. That could explain the low vacuum. Wait, how would this vacuum pump work, though? This isn't going to work on a cam lobe, though. This is just going to work off the cam shaft. This isn't like the high-pressure injection pumps on the other ones. Do I only do Volkswagen cars? I'm the Volkswagen guy here, so mostly is the best way of putting it. Mostly. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's not. It's kind of like what Rodak said, but kind of not at the same time. It's the camshafts on the actual cams. The cam lobes are all worn down. Oh yes, I remember that's also a problem too. Yes. I see what he's saying. This would be the first one of those I've ever actually seen. So he's saying that the camshafts themselves have worn down, and they cause a lack of power, all this other stuff, because it's starving the motor. So it could be kind of a misfire-esque condition. It's just an odd misfire. Yeah, I mean, down here, Volkswagen's is just Audi Volkswagen. Mostly. So the question is there any way to measure that without actually taking off the valve cover? Can't think of any. I think we just have to pull out the valve cover. There's no other. You kind of see through here, but not very well. If they've been putting the wrong oil in here, it could be an issue. Yeah. I do have my lunch. I have chicken salad. Ooh, that thing was burnt as hell. Let me get something on there before it cooks itself into nothing. Ah, much better. Damn it, you stupid intake piece. Yeah, low cams would explain a lot of this. Honestly. Where's my... Or worn out camshafts. No, that was not my wife. Jeffrey, is there a particular reason why the sentences are backwards? They're very hard to understand. But if that cam was low, why would the vacuum pump be reading lower than normal? Because this should only go on the camshaft spinning. It's going to be working off the end of the cam, not the lobe. I think that camshaft's like any of the other ones I've ever taken off from there. Frustrating. Frustrating. don't ever work on cars. You don't get dirty. Gross. That doesn't make any sense either, Jeffrey.
What are you planning?
A lot of things. Hold on.
You're making me a list?
Even that makes sense, Pac-Man. Damn it. This thing's cooking itself. Of course, it's burned some of my cotton in half. Why wouldn't it?